People often complain that politicians don't represent us, but what do we mean by represent and why does it matter? I've been speaking to Professor Peter Allen, the author of How to Think About Politics, and the third chapter of this book is all about representation. Peter explains that in politics, we usually think about representation in one of two forms, descriptive or substantive.
The first is something called descriptive representation, and that essentially is a number of people from a certain group in society who are present in a political institution. And then the second type is substantive representation, and that's when representatives do something for members of the group that they represent.
But does improving descriptive representation tend to improve substantive representation?
The higher the descriptive representation of a group in Parliament, the better the substantive representation of that group. We found it across multiple years and in multiple different contexts as well.
So have improvements in descriptive representation in recent decades really transformed our politics in substantive terms? And if not, why not?
When the numbers of people from groups that had historically been quite marginalized from political institutions, so for example, people from ethnic minorities and indeed women, the idea was that when they came into political institutions, those institutions might be transformed in some way. They would change beyond recognition. And that hasn't really happened. Getting anything to happen through political institutions is complex, and it's difficult usually to say that you pulled this lever or pressed a certain button and that a certain outcome came as a result. Politics itself in sort of recent decades has become arguably more complex along those exact same lines. So it's harder for politicians to control all of the things that maybe they used to.
So is it still worth it to try to improve descriptive representation?
There are symbolic benefits. It creates this sort of belief that people from those groups can be more involved in politics and more engaged. And then there's a pure justice argument. So why would it be fair for certain groups in society to dominate political decision making?
Follow me so you don't miss my other videos with Peter about how to think about politics, and if this piqued your interest, make sure you go check out the book too.